Okay, you saw the title of the video. Pretty sure it'll inevitably just piss everyone off. So let's just get into it, huh? The whole pro-life versus pro-choice argument. It's been brought to the forefront again with the current ruling of the Supreme Court canceling Roe versus Wade. It makes me shake my head how many people don't even know what that's about. The level of misinformation is just all over the place. And they just run with it. Because no matter what people think, they just agree with what agrees with them. It doesn't matter what's right, what's wrong, any of that. So, let's actually break this down. Let's look at pro-choice versus pro-life. And let's start with pro-life. Let's really analyze what people mean with that. And let's be real. Humanity is not pro-life. Maybe pro-sentience. We value things that we consider are equal. But if we don't consider it our equal, how do we treat it? We treat it like pets. We treat it like trash. We treat it like threats. That's it. If it's not something we feel is at our level that we can control, we consider it beneath us. You can't be pro something that you consider beneath your feet. Now let's look at pro-choice. You know what that means? People care about them having a choice. They don't care about anybody else having a choice. They don't care about how their choices affect anybody else. All they care about is getting to do what they want. That is the pro-choice. So pro-life, they care about their life. They care about the moral hill they get to stand on to feel good about themselves, without any consideration as to whom else it hurts or affects. Pro-choice, the same thing. All they care about is themselves. And they want that high moral ground just to feel better about it. So you question this. You think that I'm just being negative, whatever. Let's take a closer look at the world. Let's take a closer look at this humanity, this world we want to bring children into in the first place. That's what a lot of this argument revolves around, right? Children. So first we have the extreme nature of politics. Everything is focused on extremes where it is supposed to be about compromise and working together. The left and right, they're supposed to work together. In many ways like a relationship between a man and a woman, where we compensate for each other's weaknesses and embrace each other's strengths. That's how it's supposed to work. They quit doing that shit a long time ago. Whether it's left versus right, black versus white, man versus wife, it is blatant self-destruction to seek black and white laws in a gray world. It leaves no room for humanity. It's like standing at the very precipice, the edge of a boat, and then not understanding why it keeps tipping over, but doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So the whole extreme stance on crap, in regards to like with this case abortion, where it's like all or nothing, is utterly ridiculous. Personally, I take more of a compromise role, about maybe 20 weeks or so. Because at the very beginning, an abortion is a simple procedure. You stick in the tube, you suck it up like a spit wad, and you take it out. At this point, the fetus hasn't even developed any sense of conscience, no nervous system, it's no pain, it's a quick procedure. In the later stages of it, they literally have to rip the baby apart inside of you, taking it out piece by piece. At this point, especially in the later stages, this baby can feel pain. It has a nervous system, and you are ripping it apart. You gotta draw the line somewhere. But nobody wants to draw the line in the gray areas. It always has to be all or nothing. They loathe the possibility of compromise or understanding. Because politics has not been about actually working together for a long time. Now, like everything else, it's all about winning. It doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process. You just want to win. That is humanity nowadays. And that is utterly ridiculous for what we consider and call ourselves to be a civilized people. We're not civilized. We're selfish, impetuous children. Going on a hubris trip for the sake of our own ego, saying everything we do is moral just because we don't want to question our own decisions. It's utterly ridiculous. So moving on, let's look at some of the other things in the world. Another big thing, the LGBT group. Something I personally disagree with, their sexualizing of children. We're supposed to be protecting children, right? But then you have this group blatantly grooming children, defining them and seeing them in sexual manners, which is an invitation for predators. And you don't believe me again. You want to disregard it. Because, oh, they're this, whatever. All right. So first you have Desmond the Amazing, which is an 11-year-old boy exploited by his mother by having him strip for grown men in gay clubs for dollar bills. His mother justifying this, claiming that stripping is just part of drag culture, so it's okay to exploit her son in this way. Why has that kid not been taken away from her? Think about it. You have parades where I've seen, examples where grown men were walking mostly naked with multiple dildos hanging off their body and a young child walking right next to them. If I'm caught urinating on a dumpster at 2:30 in the morning by an officer, nobody else is even awake, much less around, I would go on a list as a sexual predator because of the chance a child might have seen it. And this shit's okay in the parades? In the LA celebration for Pride, Christina Aguilera wore a big-ass green dildo during her performance. This was advertised as a family-friendly event. Kids were encouraged to come to this Pride event. And that's okay? Do I really need to go on there? How is that in any way appropriate? Let's be real. The LBGT has basically become an extreme religious cult that worships sexuality. They claim inclusiveness, yet seek to make anybody that disagrees with them in any way a social pariah. While they may not be physically as violent as a less former religious wing, which was Islam with the jihad, today people are less and less in physical contact with each other. It's their online lives that have far more dominance. So in many ways, it's just as threatening. They have a doctrine they run by. And to disagree at all, you're labeled as a homophobe, transphobe, or whatever next term they choose. That is their heretic. By definition, they're an extreme religion. They're just as judgmental and hateful as all those other religions they claim to hate. Like the definition of hypocrisy. And as I've said before, I'm perfectly fine with equal rights. I don't care. If they want to get married, let them get married. That doesn't make a difference to me. If I'm not in your bed, it's not my business. All I see is as long as it's legal and consensual. So no kids. Everybody agrees, nobody's getting hurt. You do you, it's not my business. But sexualizing children, making them prime targets for pedophiles, that is something I take serious exception to. And as far as I can see, you guys are all about it. You might as well just put the P in your list of letters for pedophile and be honest with people for a change. It's ridiculous. I have never been so disappointed in humanity as I have become. The only thing that makes it worse when I look into history and realize that we haven't even changed. This is what we've always been. That's why we always rewrite history to try to make ourselves sound better. We haven't changed, we haven't learned, we haven't evolved. And honestly, I don't think we're going to. So back to the prime debate. Pro-choice versus pro-life. You know what I am at this point? I'm pro-vasectomy. Because children deserve better than the world we can offer them. It's akin to a hate crime and a punishment, not an act of love to bring a child into a world as it is, especially since it's only going to get worse. Anybody with half a brain can see it's only going to get worse because people won't let it get better. Everybody wants to argue, but nobody wants to figure anything out. So pro-life, pro-choice, pro-vasectomy. Let's just end this crap. What's the point of drawing it out for another couple of generations before we devolve to the point of not even having a civilization and making everybody suffer all the more for it? Let's just actually make the responsible choice now and just end the cycle. Anyway, that's what I had in my mind. Y'all have a good one.